Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, and we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our lunch hour live with Happy Healthy Women. I am Natalie Colillo, founder of Happy Healthy Women, and I am joined today by the most beautiful Adrienne Enns. Many of you will know this gorgeous lady, and I am so excited to be on live with her today and have this really amazing chat that we are going to have about the power of living intentionally. So, for those of you who don't know Adrienne, she is a trailblazer with Happy Healthy Women Toronto West. She is the founder of a wonderful company called May You Know Joy. She is an author, a speaker, a coach. She is so many amazing things, and I just love her to bits. So, um, thank you so much, Adrienne, for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
And I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and yeah, maybe just share, I know I just shared about you, but maybe you can just say a few words about yourself as well and tell us, yeah, what it is that you do.
Absolutely. Well, there's a long backstory, which some of you know, but yeah, it took some tough life experiences to make me realize that um, joy could be a choice for me, and I could choose to live my life differently. And that's really where my own intention setting practice started. I didn't know what it was called. It was just like, how can I show up mindfully every day and create a life that I'm proud of, that's meaningful, and that makes me happy? And that is really where the company evolved. So now I aspire to create products and experiences and conversations to help people live intentionally.
I love it. I love it. And so many of our branch directors and trailblazers and the women in our community in general absolutely love the products that you've created and the cards. And so where was that like creating the cards? Was it something that you like? Did you just have an idea to have something that would help you create intention every day, or where did that come from?
Well, it's partially that. I just randomly picked up a deck of cards once when I was on the West Coast visiting my sister. And I just found that they really opened my eyes to like other ways of thinking, getting out of my own head. And I was like, oh, this is just such an interesting idea for today. I'm just going to think about this. So it really opened my aperture. So I wanted to create my own version. And the thing that I also love about the cards is that they're accessible to anybody, anytime, anywhere. Because sometimes we don't have time or money for coaching or a retreat, but we need a little soul food. So I liked that it could be something that, if you like to do it Saturday mornings or Sunday nights, like, it's always there and you can just use it as you need to.
Yeah, yeah, they're amazing, and I know that our community gets a lot from them. So thank you for creating those.
My pleasure.
So let's talk a little bit about the power of living intentionally. And you and I have talked so much about this, and I love that one of the biggest things that we've talked about is it being a practice.
Yes.
So share a little bit about that. Like why? I mean, okay, first of all, what do you mean by living intentionally? Like, what does that actually mean to
Yeah.
someone who, yeah.
It's such a good question because people ask me all the time because they're like, I've heard this term, like, and it's bandied around, but I don't know what it is or how to do it. So to me, it's like mindfully choosing how we want to show up and
Mhm.
and trying to live it, trying to be it. So, if I want the world to be a kinder place, then it starts with me, right? Like being kind, showing up in a kind way. And sometimes it's going to go well and it's not going to go well, but instead of like this, my life before one that I coach 8 point life later, as opposed to like, how do I really want to show up today? Integrate it into everything I do. And yeah, to your point, the practice, because like kindness, for example, could look different every day. And sometimes it could be tougher or easier. Sometimes we don't get it back. Like what do we do with all of this information? And the other part too is like it's not perfection, right? It's just like showing up in this way and learning and being mindful and just creating different patterns, not just being in this hamster wheel.
Yeah, totally. And I think that like we just go through life day by day and we're told think positive, right? And
Yeah.
uh yeah, and just like expect the best. And but sometimes like that's not as intentional as we could be, and that's not really bringing the results in our life and manifesting what we actually want to manifest if we were being as intentional as you're talking about, correct?
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Because people hear "May no joy" and they're like, "Oh, you're happy all the time." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I am happy a lot of the time because I choose to align with that, and I've cut out a lot of crap." But yeah, being intentional. Sometimes to me, it's like on the toughest days where I actually get the most intentional because it's like, okay, what do I really need to do today to like take care of myself or show up in the world? Like, what is really important to my values? And sometimes being intentional is like a small thing, right? Like
Mhm.
reaching out to a friend. Other times it's bigger things, but it's like the small, consistent things we do all the time that make like that builds your lifetime, right? Not just one big thing.
Okay, so let's talk about the power of it then, right? Because I totally agree, and the fact that it builds your life is powerful. Let's talk about the day to day power. So, what have you seen? Maybe just in your own life in general, like the differences between that intentional living and not, and how do people access this? That'll be the second question. But first of all, let's talk about that power.
Um, well, the power I think in it, number one, is choosing ourselves, right? Like when you're being intentional, you're choosing yourself. And like in this membership group I have this month, we've been talking about self love, and everybody's like, "Ah," you know?
Yeah.
So, it's just like, even if it's small things, it's like it is choosing ourselves and recognizing what our values are and how we want to show up. So there's a lot of power in that, right? So then your power is coming from inside. And so all of your intentions, all your energy, all of your actions is bringing that power out into the world. And the way I would relate it to my previous life is I let everybody else hold the power, bosses, partners, friends. So I was trying to please them or measure up or be enough. And it just left me completely disconnected and fragmented. So by getting centered, that's where our power is. And then we just take care of it, right? Like whether that's diet, exercise, meditation, acting intentionally, like it can just be like whatever you have the energy for. And if your practice just builds a little bit over time, the important part is that it builds over time.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so choosing ourselves is really yeah, like you said, knowing how we want to show up and being willing to cultivate that and nurture that.
Yeah.
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 And why is that such like why do we have to be made aware of doing this? Like why does this fall by the wayside sometimes?
I don't know, but well, and I mean, for some of us, it's like the way we were raised, with no discredit to our parents. But I just know I wasn't taught that. I wasn't modeled it. And then in our society, like everything I was doing, it was a lot of like metrics and measuring up and the idea of perfection. So, and I think sometimes people think choosing themselves is selfish. So,
Mhm.
um, they struggle with it that way. But I think when it's like the old oxygen mask metaphor that's been so overused, but like when we take care of ourselves, we're better for ourselves and for everybody around us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. So, what are some things that we can do to start to live more intentionally, Adrienne? And I mean, obviously, you have a whole uh, kit and caboodle of tools that you help, that you serve women with, or not just women, but
Yeah.
people in general. And so, tell us a little bit more about those and the thing, like why they're helpful to start living more intentionally.
Sure. Well, I'll just start like if somebody is starting straight out with no tools, like they're just on their own, I would
Hmm.
say sort of the simplest, toughest thing is, just like waking up in the morning before you like jump out of bed, grab your phone, get consumed in the world, is just to like put a hand to the heart, hand to the belly, and take a few deep breaths, like gratitude for the day. And yeah, like knowing what's going to happen today, like how do you want to show up?
Hmm.
It can be as simple as that. And then just, throughout the day, can you bring yourself into the moment? Because we so want to get into the past and into the future. So in this moment, what could I do that would align me with how I want to live intentionally? And
Hmm.
then, yeah, I do help people. So whether it's the card decks or the book I wrote, or I have an online community for people who want, yeah, a community and regular inspiration. But yeah, and also like to infuse it with joy. Like this is not a to-do list item. Like we're doing this because it makes our life better. Like this is how we want to show up. So whatever rituals you create, whether it's pulling a card or doing something else, like it should be something that enhances your day. It's not like
Hmm.
another, oh my God, I got to do that.
Yes, yeah. This is not about like, although it helps, it probably would help us be more productive because we're living intentionally, but it's not about focusing on that, right? It's about focusing on how to bring more joy into our lives. I love that.
Yeah, although yeah, like once you're more intentional, you do start to think of that in every aspect. So let's
Yeah.
say for all of the entrepreneurs in this group, like what is my intention with my business, with my collaboration, with my goals? Like it really does also help with clarity. And we can
Mhm.
get really overwhelmed, so it's a great exercise in sometimes getting back to basics and making decisions.
I love it. And can you talk a little bit more about your group that you have, like that members can subscribe to and be a part of? Like, what goes on in there?
Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. I just launched it in January, and it's called the Intentional Days Membership, so named after the book. And it really, excuse me, it came out of like years of conversations. So I'd held a lot of workshops, done a lot of retreats. People have the cards, and people are like, but yeah, like, how do I do this? How do I stay inspired? Or a lot of people who came for coaching, maybe they needed a little bit of coaching, but sometimes they just wanted a community. So that's what I wanted to create in this group. Like, so we're inspired and accountable and contribute to this conversation. So there's a Facebook group. So there's always lots of regular activity in that. But also each month we have a theme. So I'll guide people all month in having that theme as our intention. So with that, there's a monthly masterclass, Facebook Lives, meditations. So if you want to just be in the shallow end and sample things, you can do that. Or if you want to deep dive, there's also lots of rich content. So I just want to,
Let's see.
it's imperfect and messy and beautiful.
I love it. And you froze on my end a little bit, so sorry if I froze on your end. But perfect. That's amazing. And so tell us how. So there's your membership, and then how else can people work with you? They can find your book. Uh, I'll let you share. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, there are the card products, the Mano Joy cards and Seeds of Intention cards. Those are on my website. There's the Intentional Days book and audiobook on Amazon. The membership, which there's also a lot of information about that on the website. And I also do one-on-one coaching.
Perfect. And all of this can be found at mayyouknowjoy.com. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Let me just correct that. Oh, there's a comma instead of a period, but people get it. I don't know.
People get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love this. So check out Adrienne, and absolutely, like you're the most inspiring. I find everything that you do incredible. And so for those who are watching and you don't already have the cards, that's a perfect place to start with Adrienne's teachings and knowledge. And I think that combined with your amazing membership now that you have is perfect, because I agree, like magic happens in community, which is exactly why Happy Healthy Women is what it is. And I find what you're doing incredibly inspiring as well. So thank you for creating that.
My pleasure. And I will just add, if people just want to kick the tires, or the age card every morning. So you can also join me in that card pull and, see how that resonates for you for the day.
Amazing. I love that. Did you say on Instagram? Sorry, you froze on my end again.
Sorry, it's on my Instagram handle at @mayyouknowjoy in the stories, and also in my Facebook stories.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So go follow Adrienne, and yeah, thank you so much for all that you do. And I know that you also do some great workshops in the Toronto West branch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a date for the next one?
Not at the moment. TBD.
Okay. Okay, TBD. But those are so special, and when they do come up, like literally buy your ticket ASAP, because they're beautiful, and Adrienne does an amazing job, and they sell it really quickly. So
I love creating. Thank you.
yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Adrienne. And for those of you who are catching the recording of this, feel free to reach out to this beautiful woman at mayyouknowjoy.com or on Instagram or on Facebook. She is such a blessing to our community, and I just love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Right back at you.
Awesome. And for those of you who are watching and would love to get on live yourself and share what you do with our community to serve, the women of Happy Healthy Women, please do get in touch. There's so many ways to be a part of this incredible place. So thank you all for watching. And thank you again, Adrienne. Love you all. Have a great intentional day.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.